GearNetwork.com.
The following is a presentation of the Gear Radio Network.
So we're just gonna wing it like we normally do lately. I mean, it's just me and you.
Yeah, we do have a special guest. He's running a little late. As you can hear, I'm not feeling the best, but at least I'm not in rehab like Sleazy and Ryan is.
And Brandon, evidently. Brandon's been there for like 3 years.
Brandon's been in rehab for
5 years.
for forever. So it's we do have a special guest. He is loading up his Zoom as we speak. So he should be coming in any second, and then we'll get to our main topic, which will be the top 5 matches that made us fall in love with wrestling. I have Sleazy's from Rehab. I have Brandon's from Parts Unknown.
And like Ryan, it's DOA or MIA. Missing in action. I'm sorry. Not dead on arrival.
We teased a new nickname for him this week. He never showed up.
So he loses it.
Didn't know he's going to keep it. But all I can say is pimping ain't easy for him right now. So
DT Gerald DT.
Is he coming?
Oh, I hear something. Oh, nope. Look at this pouting motherfucker.
It says, oh my God. There he is.
Defensive tackle number 71. What?
Holy
Wrong
crap.
show.
Can you hear us?
Jerry, can you hear?
Jerry, you good? It says connecting to audio.
Hello?
Jerry, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Yes, so I guess the best damn sports show period 2 is taking over the wrestling show this week.
It's an invasion.
And he left.
Although Jerry left.
And he left.
We'll start out with news. Just start out with news and rumors, and then we'll work it in.
Yeah, give me 1 second.
Hey, he's back.
Wow. All right.
All right.
Hey, so as we said, the best damn sports show period 2 is invading the wrestling show. So, all right, Fatman.
Jerry, introduce yourself and tell the wrestling show. We know who you are, but tell the wrestling show multitude of fan who you are.
My name is, as you can see by my nickname, it shouldn't be there, is Gerald Giudicetti. I am a defensive tackle for the Vancouver Legion.
That's what it is.
For the Simulation Football League. I'm also part of the Best Darn Sports Show period 2 with the 2 guys on your screen. Also part of Bullseyes and Briskies for darts and a whole lot of other stuff. So I'm grateful to be on here today.
Well, thank you for coming, man. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, Chip's probably going to take the multitude of talking because, as you can tell, my voice isn't very, very good right now.
Oh.
So Jerry's doing us a favor. He's coming on because we have half our
nobody's here.
Half our shows in rehab.
24-hour COVID. 24-hour COVID.
So Sleazy sent me in his we're doing top 5 matches that made us fall in love with wrestling.
Now, Jerry, this is also a poll. It's not a right or wrong answer.
Mm-hmm.
Fatman will chastise you for what you say, but it don't mean shit.
Maybe not this week because I have no voice. So let's
I have 5 solid ones, I feel so.
Well, it's what made you fall in love with wrestling. So you can't really bash it. Like normally I don't read through these. I didn't read through Sleazy's, but I read through Brandon's, and I can't bash his because it's what made him love. Whatever made you fall in love with this great sport, I'm not going to bash you for it.
And continue to stay in love with it as well.
Yes. Exactly. And I'm not going to bash you for it. It is what it is.
Well, maybe a love-hate right now.
Okay, so let me read off Sleazy's. He goes, top 5. This is definitely a hard list to do because there's been so many matches that have made me a fan of professional wrestling. As I sit here in rehab, I had a relapse the other week. I'm in deep confinement. I slipped a 20 in an Oscar match for a message to go out. Oh, I love Sleazy so much.
Kayfabe still alive.
Oh, yes. I think back to all the times I could say I was completely and truly a fan of professional wrestling. These times were never felt more vivid than it was at a live show. So I narrowed down my favorite matches to a top 5, but they were all at live events he's been to. As honorable mentions, we'll go through honorable mentions. We'll go each, and then we'll go. Sleazy's is Kurt Angle versus Christian Cage is at a TNA house show. I personally was supposed to go to this show, but ironically enough, I got sick and missed it. So that's funny that I'm sick now.
You have a little theme going on here.
A show that featured Kurt Angle in his Rocky Magoo situation. The entire show was a special one. Being able to meet Christian and Kurt, and one of the first times I really felt like the show was intimate. The Mexicools versus the Blue World Order, Great American Bash 2005. It's a dumb match, but it reunited a love for comedy in wrestling that I always loved. His last honorable mention is Jeff Hardy versus Edge versus Triple H from Armageddon 2008. Don't get me wrong, this match was really good, but it was a feeling that maybe we were going to give a dude like Jeff a big push that made it special. He held it for 4 weeks and it finished by his brother turning on him. Sigh. But the feeling leaving that arena was just magical. Those are his honorable mentions. I don't have a match, but I actually have 2 events. And it was in 2013. I think Chip knows where I'm going with this. It was Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor, and WrestleMania 29, where we met everyone at the wrestling show. To where it'll be 10 years for Sleazy and I, 9 years for you guys. And those are my honorable mentions because if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't be where we are today. And I appreciate everyone. Guest Steven Gerald coming on here, being on the show, and I really do love everyone here. And thanks for coming on. That's mine. I'm gonna rest my voice for the next couple of minutes. So go ahead, Chip, if you have honorable mentions.
Okay, I do. I actually have 3 of them, and it sucks that I couldn't work in the 2 that are going to lead off my honorable mention into the top 5, but I couldn't as much as I wanted to. One is last year, Shingo Takagi versus Will Ospreay at Donkatu. And it was this night 2 main event, went 43 minutes, and it was a 6-star match. It was one of the best wrestling matches I've ever seen. And I just watched, I will watch the final between Okada and Ospreay after the show tonight, and I will go live on the wrestling show and give you my review. I've been trying to review as much as possible for the G1 Climax. When you have every day 4-hour pay-per-views for a month and a half, it gets kind of hard to do. So a lot of what I did, and I did it for the first half of the G1 Climax, is I just went from the 4 matches that went every night for the G1 Climax and rated them. I lost track of that too because it got too much. But the semifinal between Naito and Ospreay was fucking amazing. If you get a chance to go watch it, please do. Also, Bret Hart versus British Bulldog, SummerSlam 92. I wanted to put that in the top 5 and I couldn't. And that pissed me off. Says one of the reasons I fell in love with wrestling way back when in 92. Jerry, do you have any honorable mentions that you can think of off the top of your head? Because I know you didn't come up with one.
I
don't think.
I actually have two.
Okay, go for it, please.
One is one of the first matches for the Great American Bash. This is when the NWA had the Great American Bash. Midnight Express versus the Rock and Roll Express. Bobby,
Oh yeah, you
beautiful
can.
Bobby
Yeah.
and Sweet Stan versus Ricky and Robert. I can still picture them still doing the Alabama Jam and all those other ring with a double drop kick on. That's when Big Bubba Rogers, aka the Big Boss Man, came in and did the Bubba Slam to Ricky, and he upped his hat in the ring, and they got disqualified. So that was cool. And another one, and it's an obscure match: Terry Funk versus Cactus Jack from the IWA show. No rope barbed wire match with the explosion. C4 barbed wire boards in the ring. It's just an absolutely brutal bloodletting of a match.
So the original death match.
Yeah, the original IWA death match. The actual tournament itself was pretty cool, but the final was Terry Funk versus Cactus Jack.
All right. Well, since we're letting Fatman rest, and you're the new guy on the show, let's go ahead and hear your top 5.
Do your. We're gonna do it. Just do 5, and then you do 5, and then.
Okay.
Are you sure?
Five.
Okay.
Five. That's
yep.
fine.
Yep.
All right.
Okay. My number 5 will go back to just a little bit over 36 years ago. Magnum.
Fatman, were you alive? Fatman, were you even alive?
I was born
August 17th, 1986. The finals of the best of 7. Magnum TA versus Nikita Cole. That, to me, I mean, they had the whole thing where Magnum TA got stripped of the NWA US title for attacking Nikita Koloff for making fun of his mother. Bob Geigel ends up getting hurt, strips him of the title. So they do the best of 7. Nikita goes up 3-0. Magnum 3-1, 3-2, 3-3. To get to the last match, and Nikita gets some help from Ivan Koloff, distracting the referee, uses the chain, and defeats Magnum TA. So Magnum TA versus Nikita Koloff, best of 7 match. 7 is my number 5.
Loving the NWA love. Let me do Brandon's. His was he writes number 1 on all of them, so I don't know which ones. I'm just gonna go from order. He had Bret Hart versus Mr.
He did not follow the assignment.
He had Bret Hart versus Mr. Perfect from SummerSlam '91. He goes, this hit it all for me. Storyline, the pompous asshole knows Mr. Perfect versus the up and coming single star with a catchy ass theme song and a cool as fuck glasses. Bret Hart was untouchable between 1992 and 1996 that I still bank on. What also makes this match is a commentary by Roddy Piper himself. Tone and incredible voice scream. What a counter. Sorry, I can't do it with my voice. I would watch this match every week and not get tired of it. Okay. Well, I'm still got a voice. Let's do Sleazy. His is Icarus versus... Oh, God, why the fuck? I hate you so much, Sleazy. You did this just to piss me off. I
guarantee I know where it's coming from.
Icarus versus Eddie Kingston, Chikara Grand Championship. Chikara, you only live twice. I fucking hate you. Match, admittedly, and the show itself, if I'm being really honest, was not a great show. Only Live Twice was a culmination. Sorry, I couldn't read that. Of storylines that played with so many fans' emotions of the product. Chikara was dead effectively. You Only Live Twice was a resurrection of the promotion, one that had a rabid fan base and loved every second of everything that happened. Everyone was there to witness a rebirth, a time to see friends that they missed for months and to enjoy deep lore that is Chikara. So to be there live, to feel that energy was surreal. Icarus finally vanquishing Eddie was a huge deal at this show, and the I'm thinking about post-match stuff made it in a lot of people's minds. Chip, go ahead.
Okay. My number 5, and just because I want to break the rules this time, I'm just going to go a culmination of matches. And so when it comes to a new movie or a new show, I like a new concept. So I'm going to go with innovative matches, like the first ever Money in the Bank, the first ever Hell in a Cell, the first ever Elimination Chamber, and the first ever X Division, because they were new matches that we had never seen that were going to have a different way of winning. And I thought, to me, whenever they brought a new thing, I made sure I was watching that pay-per-view right from the beginning, because I wanted to see how these things went down. And seeing Hell in a Cell and WrestleMania in Dallas was fucking amazing. Even though I know it had been around forever, but to see it live was fucking amazing. But just the whole concept of innovative matches. And yeah, I left out like War Games. I left out like the Inferno matches, but stuff like that. Concept, and not gimmick matches either. Concept matches, innovative matches. That right now, the Money in the Bank is now one of the top 5 pay-per-views of the year. I think that was very creative on both TNA/Impact, WWE's part, and in some scenarios, WCW's part as well. And in NWA.
My 5 was Bret Hart versus Owen Hart, SummerSlam '94.
Beautiful match.
Greatest steel cage match of all time. I will fight Ryan to the death. He says it's just a match inside a wrestling match inside a steel cage. I disagree 100%. Go back and watch that match. Yes, it was brutal, but they were trying to win the match. It was just psychologically sound from head to toe. Okay, Jerry, go ahead with your number 4.
My number 4 is brought to me one of the most underrated matches. And you say about you love the NWA love, you're gonna really love all my picks then. Number 4, Great American Bash 1987. Ric Flair versus Gorgeous Jimmy Garvin. I don't know if you've ever seen that match, but it was Flair puts up the title. Gorgeous Jimmy, if he loses, puts up Precious for a night. You want to talk about a masterclass of selling an injury. Jimmy Garvin did a leapfrog like halfway through the match, hurt his knee, and just the whole emotion of the crowd. You see the tears coming down Precious' face. Ronnie Garvin makes an appearance. I can still see him crawling to the corner to see Ronnie. He's going, "I'm hurt, Ronnie. I'm hurt, Ronnie." And Ronnie's like, "Don't give up." He's like, I'm not going to give up. And then at the end, to show you how much of the crowd got into it, Flair, he got that burst of adrenaline. He was going to hit his brain buster, and his leg gave out. Flair put him in the figure 4 and was literally holding on to the ropes and lifting his legs off the canvas. A fan runs past Ronnie Garvin and tries to jump in the ring and actually almost got in. The old school NWA referee who officiated all of Flair's matches, I can't think of his name.
Tommy Young.
Tommy Young, thank you. Tommy Young actually jumped up on the turnbuckle to try to help the guy. They got to get the guy down, but that was just an emotional, just a riveting match. It basically set up Ronnie Garvin taking the title off of Flair later on.
Dude, if you listen to the show, I am the NWA mark on this show. So I grew, and you'll see here later on this list. Let me do Sleazy's. Of course, there's an Asian in it. Charlotte Flair versus Asuka. Shocker, I'm a big Asuka mark, a big one. I'm still shocked that they fed her to Charlotte at WrestleMania, no less. But you cannot deny that seeing one of my top favorites at a WrestleMania isn't worthy on this list. There are times where some of my favorite themes will hit, and I'll actually feel a bit choked up with emotion. Asuka's is one, and spoiler, it happens again on this list. I have voice Brandon, Hulk Hogan versus Lex Luger, WCW title match, August 7th, '97 Nitro. Around this time, I was growing up, and I'm still watching WCW. But WWF was over and done with for me at this point in my life. Myself, I 100% a Hogan mark. Hollywood made me even appreciate him even more. That being said, while wearing my Skull Hogan shirt the night Lex went over, single-handedly made me switch back to WWE. It was a absolute insane crowd reaction, was white hot. The sheer joy of watching referee Randy Travis. It's not Randy Travis. I think it's Randy Anderson.
Yeah.
Freak out as my favorite, as my hero tapped, is seared in my skull. Fuck you, Luger, but I appreciate the moment now. Okay, mine. We already talked about my number 4. It's Bret Hart versus Mr. Perfect, SummerSlam '91.
Okay, my number 4. So there was a time where I actually fell out of love with wrestling. I gave it up for about 10 years. I just didn't. I got to the point where I was tired of the WWE running around in circles. Back then, actually, I think it was WWF at the time, or it just turned over, and it just got stale. And I got into more different sports, like hockey was on all the time, baseball, basketball, football, and kind of fell by the wayside. But I came back, and number 4, Shawn Michaels versus Bret Hart, WrestleMania 12. That was just a great build-up, and it even led eventually, I think, if I remember right, to the Montreal Screwjob in Survivor Series of that year, or the year coming. Post-seeding, yeah. So that was a great storyline. That was one of the first one-on-one storylines I remember growing up as a kid, or when I came back to the WWE. Because I started coming back about WrestleMania 10, which you'll see that later on.
Okay, number 3, I'll go. It's the first pay-per-view I ever bought, 1991 Royal Rumble. That match hooked me. It wasn't the best Rumble match, but it had a great. But the concept was unique. It was different from a battle royal, and what it's become today is absolutely phenomenal. So,
totally forgot about that. My innovative matches. Totally forgot about the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Okay.
The brainchild of Pat Patterson.
Pat Patterson. Yep. Number 3 for Sleazy. I kind of mentioned it. Kevin Steen versus Jay Briscoe, Super Card of Honor. While it wasn't the best match on the card, Red Dragon versus the Wolves, Steen losing the title to Jay and Jay winning it was probably the most shock thing I've ever witnessed live. The match wasn't bad at all, but the reason why it's on this list was a feeling in that arena. The rush of adrenaline that happened and the 3 happened. It's a Feeling that it's hard to replicate. And this is where it comes from.
There's
no way Jay Briscoe is winning the ROH World title. So Ryan said that in line when we met him, and as soon as Steen lost the title, he flipped the fuck out and stormed out of the Hammerstein Ballroom. It was fucking hilarious. So that's where that comes from. Also, it was one of the infamous pay-per-views where the ending cut off halfway through the main event. So if no one saw Jay Briscoe win the title, did he really lose it? Type thing. But yeah.
Tree fall on the force.
But I'm liking Sleazy's theme of the matches he saw live, which is great. Brandon's is the Young Bucks versus the Briscoes, Best in the World, 2018. This would be my furthest I go as far as new school matches. This really put my love for tag team matches at all-time high. This, I hate to say, it was my first ROH pay-per-view attendance. Fucking Mark. I've been a multiple TV tanks whenever pay-per-view. These guys actually destroyed it. From the bell, it was fast-paced, hard-hitting, crazy close falls. This gave me more appreciation because this was basically in my backyard. I made it made me appreciate ROH for what it was and what it done as a whole. Tony Khan better not fuck this up. Too late.
Too late. And it really it was in his backyard, literally.
G, go ahead.
My number 3 goes all the way back to Starrcade 1985. Magnum TA shows up again, but this time against Tully Blanchard in the infamous I Quit
match.
Brutal ending that had a wooden chair being thrown in the ring by a one-armed James J. Dillon. James J. Dillon threw it in. Tully busted apart, tried to stab Magnum in the head. Magnum needs him off. Then you hear just sticks it right in his head, and all you hear is Tully screaming, "Yes! Yes!" And then Tommy Young's ringing the bell, and Magnum's standing there with that thing in one hand and Tully Blanchard's head and his other hand pulling about his hair, and all you see is him going, "My eye! My eye!" I just think that is just an amazing match. Really, the hatred between those two that shows in that match, to me, is something to me now is missing. That just raw emotion that people, just wanted to see Tony Blanchard get his ass whipped. So that's my number 5. Number 3, I'm sorry. Magnum TA, Tony Blanchard, I Quit, Starrcade 85.
What could have been with Magnum TA, man?
Oh,
if he
is that not the worst tragedy in wrestling? I mean, my gosh.
Owen Hart, but
Owen Hart.
Well, yeah. I'm sorry,
but yeah. No, I know what you're saying. Like he was going to be the world champion, man. That was just.
Could you imagine the run him and Flair would have had?
Oh my god.
Oh.
Chip, did you do your number 3 yet?
I have not.
Okay, go ahead.
Shawn Michaels, Razor Ramon, WrestleMania 10, the ladder match, the Intercontinental ladder match.
Yep.
It was breathtaking, false finish after false finish. Well, you really can't false finish, but you know what I'm saying. I mean, It was back and forth, and it was another new concept. The original, before there was a TLC, there was a ladder match, people. So, Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon. And just because I love how everyone thought Razor Ramon, including myself, was from Miami when he is really from just south of where I'm from in Southern Maryland in Great Mills.
Yup. Number 2.
Save your voice. I'll save your voice. I'll do number 2. I'll do number 2 so you can save your voice a little bit. My number, and then this was hard for me to pick. This is 1 and 1A, but my number 2 goes back to February 20th, 1989, Chi-Town Rumble. 2 out of 3 falls, Ric Flair versus Ricky Steamboat.
God.
If people think that the Steamboat Savage match was good, man, I mean, just the wrestling. Just the wrestling. I mean, of course, Flair's going to go outside and do his whip into the steel guardrail and chop him and whatever. But you want to talk about just wrestling and just people going. It was unbelievable. And the one thing, and it's a rarity, is to see is when the fall. Well, Ric Flair won the first fall with a reverse small package. Steamboat actually submitted Ric Flair in fall 2.
Double chicken wing.
That one of the few times that I remember Flair, at least back then, submitting in a match. And then the third one, they try to do the double chicken wing again. They both fall. Steamboat puts his shoulder up, but Flair had his foot underneath the rope. And I think that was the second match of the trilogy. And then Flair ends up winning the belt in the third one. But Flair Steamboat, 2 out of 3 falls from Chi-Town Rumble.
My number 2. It wasn't Chi-Town Rumble. It was Clash of the Champions. You know how I know that? Because my number 2 is Ric Flair, Ricky Steamboat, 2 out of 3 falls. Clash of the Champions, 1989. We have the same number 2.
That to me, that's just an I thought it was Chi-Town Rumble, but either way,
the first one was Chi-Town Rumble.
The second one was that. Okay,
yeah,
right. But either way, it's just a great match.
Absolutely. I like that one better than the other two. Even though the third match in Nashville gets all the praise, I think the second one was better. And you mentioned Ricky Steamboat versus Savage. Brandon's number 2, Ricky Steamboat versus Savage. He put the best singles match in the history of the business, period. That's all he put. Sleazy's number 2, which is funny because I just watched this match today. DIY versus the Revival, NXT TakeOver Toronto, 2006. One of the best matches I've seen live. The entire crowd was absolutely electric. You could feel every move, every near fall. The emotion that was garnered from that was just surreal. It brings out the full-on Mark inside of you. If I can remove myself and just feel like a fan after all those years as a worker, it makes my heart flutter. Those 4 did just that. And to be honest, after watching that match and knowing the story with DIY and Revival, I got choked up a little bit because that's how much emotion. So Sleazy's dead on with that. All right. Chip.
TLC 2. Jeff Hardy, Matt Hardy, the Edge and Christian, and the Dudley Boys, where Jeff Hardy did the craziest fucking thing in the world, went on a 25-foot ladder, it seemed like, and squashed the shit out of Edge on a perpendicular ladder and pretty much killed Edge. That was just high flying spears from anywhere on the chair, on the ladders, bodies flying everywhere, reckless abandonment, no one caring what a body was going through at that time, let alone could go through. I mean, they should have each been out for at least 2 or 3 years. The amount of road rash their bodies took in that match, all 6 of them.
Yeah, it's car crash. Okay. Brandon's number 1. It was the 20-man NFL versus WWF Battle Royal from WrestleMania 2. This is the very first match I ever saw. How do I know this? Because it is ingrained into my being as a man. This is where I first took a look at the 8th wonder of the world, Andre the Giant. I was 4 years old and didn't know nothing until my great-grandfather put me on his lap and said, you want to see a real giant? Andre became an obsession, from hats to shirts to terrible rubber figures that I think are poisonous to us now. Andre was my guy. Fuck, I love him even more to this day. This made me think one day maybe I could be the 9th wonder. All because I didn't shut up and my grandparents, this obsession happened. Wouldn't change it for anything. And see, normally if you put that on the list, I'd be like, oh, that match is trash, blah, blah, blah. But I'm not bashing it because it's what made him love wrestling, and I can't bash that, you know? I'm losing my voice again. Someone doing their number 1.
Go ahead, Jerry.
All right. My number 1 is probably my utmost, most favorite match of all time. I can tell you probably move for move for this whole match. July 4th, 1987. Great American Bash. The original War Game. Not the bastardized version of the War Games where there's a top and people can jump in and people bring in garbage cans and tables, and the original War Games. The 4 Horsemen, Arn, Tully, Luger, Flair, and James J. Dillon against the Superpowers, Nikita Koloff, Dusty Rhodes, the Road Warriors, Hawk and Animal with Precious Paul Ellering. A couple of my favorite parts. Animal comes in when it comes to 2-on-2, throws Tully over both sets of ring ropes, elbows Arn Anderson down, throws him into the ropes, shoulder block, picks him up, has him by the lower back, and is just throwing him like this into the cage head first. Just amazing. They set up a great with the spike pile driver on Nikita by Flair and Tully. to set up Luger getting the U.S. title later on during the Great American Bash Tour. But it comes with a price, with having the cage, with having the top on the cage. What the Doomsday device does Road Warriors move? Well, they couldn't put Dylan on top of his shoulders. Have him put a belly to back suplex position, clothesline. He ends up separating and dislocating his shoulder, but Hawk ends up submitting Dylan by pushing his head against the cage to win the submitter surrender. To me, just that's when you hear the crowd going, "Ooh, ooh, ooh!" Just to me, that old school NWA and that's why I love all my matches. It's all NWA. It's storytelling, great selling, emotion, and you don't have to do a Canadian destroyer off the top rope through a flaming table that has barbed wire and thumbtacks on it just to get a 2 count and a kick out. To me, that's just my opinion. But the whole NWA back in the 80s, just about wrestling, those are my top 5.
Okay, mine. I was flipping through the channel. It's more of a feud. I was flipping through a channel. I was lucky enough to have cable. I turned on TBS, and there's a guy, big fat guy with a lisp, and he's talking about Ric Flair. And I'm like, who's this guy? Who's Ric Flair? Who are they talking about? It ended up being Dusty Rhodes.
Dusty Rhodes, baby.
And Ric Flair versus Dusty Rhodes, Great American Bash, 1986. I mean, that feud hooked me, and I've been hooked as a wrestling fan for life because of that feud. And
Yes.
It was just so much fun to watch. Even going back on it, I just love rewatching that. I love rewatching anything from probably 86, 87, 88 from the NWA. It's just absolutely great. That's mine. Sleazy's is Undertaker versus CM Punk from WrestleMania 29. If you know anything,
Really?
Wow.
Again, these are matches he's seen live. If you know anything about me, I am the biggest Undertaker mark. So his last victory of the streak was obviously going to be my number one. There's nothing I could say that I haven't before about the Undertaker and how his entrance over 30-year career affected me. Just ask Fatman. I was doubly charged by the fact that Paul Bear died the month before. He also gave Fuck Dave Meltzer's star ratings for the matches that we've seen live, but I'll go through those after Chip tells his number one.
Okay. So again, I fell out of love with wrestling because I just got too busy with acting at this time in life. I came back and I haven't left since this match happened. I actually have this match on DVD and I watch it whenever I can. From WrestleMania 25, Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, Good versus Evil. And at this time, I was actually a Christian, and that actually meant a lot to me. Being a religious base as I was, the Good versus Evil part of it blew me away in the way they doctored it and had Shawn Michaels coming down from the heavens and the entrance. And and me being a theater guy, the spectacle was just mind-blowing. Everything, the interests. And Undertaker's interests are always creative as hell, but Shawn finally came out with some creative stuff, and it was just one of the best matches I've ever seen, and I have not stopped watching wrestling since that pay-per-view. And now I've found NJPW, thanks to you guys, AEW, don't know why I'm still watching that, WCW is kind of going back, and then NWA, and you're right, NWA was a time where it wasn't all about the flash. The spectacle was actually about goddamn professional wrestling, storytelling, ring psychology at its finest. Now, those are still around to a point. I see WWE going more in that direction now with a lot of the stuff they've been doing recently. I'm not saying it's fully eclipsed now, but it's making its way back. But no, Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, WrestleMania 25, number 1.
Okay, so these are the best matches that Sleazy and I, this is according to Fuck Dave Meltzer, have seen live. Revival versus DIY was 4.5. SoCal Uncensored versus Flip Gordon and the Young Bucks for the ROH 6-man title from Super Card of Honor, which is still going on. 4.5. Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins, 4.5 as a WrestleMania Backlash. Red Dragon versus Wolves from Super Card of Honor, New York City, that's 4.5. And this is the only match that Sleazy's seen live. I wasn't here for this. Adam Cole versus Jungle Boy from a Dynamite, which is 4.5. According to Meltzer, we've never seen a 5-star match live. Fuck Dave Meltzer. The DIY versus Survival was a 5-star match. Okay, so those are our top 5 matches that made us love wrestling. We're going to take a quick break. And then after that, we're going to hit some news and rumors, which I'm going to have to run. This is going to suck for my voice, but I'll toughen it up. So we'll take a quick break and be back after this.
Bake.
Okay, we are back. Chip, speaking of bacon, tried some Orion's special drink, and now he's pimping ain't easy. So,
oh my god!
So we'll jump.
Don't hate the player. Don't hate the player. Hate the game.
Right, game.
So we're gonna go into news and rumors. So NXT UK is no more. It's going to be rebranded as NXT Europe starting next year, and these are the releases that
quite a few.
WWE. I only have 8 names.
That's still quite a few.
It is quite a few. It's Emil, Mark Andrews, not
tight end
for the Ravens, Dave Mastiff.
Falcons. Never mind. You're right.
It's the Ravens.
Yeah, you're right. I was thinking someone else.
Kyle Pitts for some reason. I don't know why.
No, the guy that went from the Ravens to the Falcons. I forget his name.
Hurst.
Yeah, thank you.
Dave Mastiff, Millie McKenzie, Aston Smith, Jake Starr, Flash Webster Gordon, and Wild Boar. I'm thinking that they just didn't either want to go to America or do the Europe thing. I think they just wanted to stay based in UK. That's what I'm thinking. Cool.
Probably. Cool. They're probably going to go to the whatever the IWC. Isn't that the one that Ospreay has the title for right now? I believe.
Could they go to Progress?
Progress is a WWE affiliate company. They could. Oh. I mean, they could though. They could go to Progress. Say it ain't so. We got CM Punk drama.
Like, oh my god, really? And tons of it too. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I bought into this whole situation, and now I'm like, are we fucking doing this again? I waited so long for him to come back. I was so excited when it happened, and we're not even a year into his run, and now he's already back to his old shenanigans.
We are a little over 1 year in.
Oh, we are a little over one? Oh, yeah, that's right. August, yeah.
According to Wade Keller, this is a quote from Keller. Somebody I talked to today said that the wrestlers in general do not feel like it is beyond Tony Khan and others to do another work shoot type thing. And he just said that he didn't think that this was the case here. Because he said just keep that in the back of your mind that even if there is a beef, there's a beef, they may think, hey, let's amplify this. Let's turn this into a thing. And also he was sort of like, let's see how things play out once we understand why the Punk Moxley match was put on early and all that. Let's see how this plays out because it might turn out like, yeah, there's something there, but then they extended and amplified it beyond a point of resolution because they think it would be believable and create a buzz. Keller also discussed Punk's behavior at Dynamite backstage. There was discussion that Punk's potential absence on the show. Advertising Punk for Dynamite didn't start until shortly after 7:00 Eastern time. Keller said, "I can report that Tony Khan went into Punk's locker room and spent a decent amount of time with him one-on-one. I can also report that Punk did not seem agitated or distracted or not his usual self before Dynamite started. It didn't seem like anything was on his mind or that it was a stressful day or anything like that. He was totally going through the normal motions. So there's just a couple contextual things here. Colt Cabana being removed from Dark Order and nearly being fired by the company before being moved to ROH is the cause of the backstage drama among some of the top guys. This is also including Adam Page. The removal of Colt Cabana from AEW TV is a significant factor in the tension between Punk and Adam Page. Okay, so if you don't know the history between Punk and Colt Cabana,
you won't understand what's going on right now.
We went through it on the show.
Mm-hmm.
So Punk was with Cabana was with AEW. Punk was signed. Cabana was nearly fired from AEW, but moved to ROH. Adam Page hated it. He loved working with Colt Cabana in the Dark Order. Mm-hmm. And now Punk is being Punk, being a little bitch. And if this gets to him, which I doubt it will, but if it does, fuck you. You are the most selfish fucking human being in the wrestling business. You are. And, I don't understand. Like,
and I'm the biggest Punk mark there is, and I still agree with you 100%.
Let's see. Has ratings gone up since Punk's been there?
They've gone into the trash.
A little bit. Well, at first they were good, but now since he's been there,
it's leveled off,
and it's the same old with Punk.
Have pay-per-view buys, but has pay-per-view buys been up since he's been there?
Nope.
The first one he was on got a little jump. The rest have leveled off. He's not a draw. You're spending
not anymore.
Millions and millions of dollars on him, and I don't know. I'm interested to see what they're going to do, but I'm just not. I'm just done with his bullshit, man. Like, it's just
AEWCW.
Just done with his bullshit. Okay, we have an update on Big E. This is a quote from him. For right now, I'm clear to live a normal life and I do live a normal life, but I'm not clear to be taking off and hitting suicide spears and be taking back bumps. The nature of what we do is very physical. It involves your neck and your spine. And I'd like to keep that intact as possible. So for me right now, kind of the next step is you want to take a look at it after a year, get some more scans. So we're talking about March 2023 to see what's going on. We might also along the way at the 6 to 9 month mark, look at it again. But the upside is right now, I have no nerve issues. There's no tingling, no weakness.
Now, I read that there was its spine fused together differently.
This is from Big E himself.
From I thought his Twitter. I thought he said that I thought I read that he said that it was healing wrong, the injury. I don't know. I could be wrong.
I know he's said something about how it wasn't healing.
It was healing, but it was healing slower than it should have been.
Is that what it is? Okay. I thought it was.
Yes, it was healing, but it wasn't healing at the rate that it should have been. That
happens when you get older.
That's a big blow, I think. Yeah, granted, we've seen Edge come back from a devastating neck injury.
Let's put him on commentary. I think he would be great on commentary.
Why not have him be the spokesperson for the New Day?
Both?
Or, he could do both.
I think he just wants to see where he is in his mind.
Yeah, I don't think he'll do that. I think he'll either want to be a performer or he'll be done.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even see him going to the Performance Center. I could just see him just totally just walking away.
I can see that too.
Right now, he said he wants to concentrate on dating, but he says this has made it really hard for him to date.
So this is a weird story, but also not at all surprising. Promoter Graham Keem of PrimosCollectibles.com took to Facebook to post a short video explaining that his show in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada was a victim of a wrestler no-showing the event. The wrestler is former WWE Impact wrestler Levi Volnez, a.k.a. No Way Jose. This happens in wrestling. Travel situations occur. However, the reporter went on to say that he got an email from Delta saying the flight has been changed from where he was supposed to go, which was Winnipeg, to Orlando, Florida, so he had cashed in the ticket. No Way Jose debuted for AEW in Orlando at the Dark Tapings. The promoter is also now approximately $1,000.
Wow.
In the chain stated at the end of the video, he will see No Way Jose in court. What a shitty fucking thing to do.
Yep.
Like, I never liked No Way Jose. I don't think he's talented at all.
No.
I never got his gimmick.
I mean, he was going for like a year in wrestling, and then all of a sudden just pops up on AEW Dark.
He was
And-
a poor man's. Who was it that did that gimmick in WWE with the party dancing?
Adam Rose.
Adam Rose.
Yeah,
And
just a wish list. Adam Rose.
And it's just, you're not only fucking the promoter out of money, now you're fucking the fans who paid a ticket to see you.
Yes.
To do a taping, so maybe you'll get more exposure, but all you had to do is wait a week.
Mm-hmm.
Do your booking and then wait a week. That is fucked up. That's just fucked up. I got some more here. So Edge at the end of Raw Monday said, this is after the TVs went off the air, said he wants to retire next year in Toronto on his own terms. In Toronto, not SummerSlam. I got news on SummerSlam in a minute. Wants to wrestle John Cena in his last match.
Have they've gone at it before, haven't they?
Oh my gosh, yeah, they had.
Yeah, I thought they had.
They had a. I mean, that's when he chuck. I remember he chucked Ed said that John Cena chucked him off of two tables, off a ladder through two tables.
That was in Toronto.
Yep.
Ryan Katz, who was a creative writer for NXT the past 7 years and released in January, is being rehired back to write NXT.
You're going to see a lot. You've been seeing a lot of people that Vince fired coming back now.
Oh, yeah, you have. Oh, yeah, you have.
Like Johnny Gargano.
Oh.
Gargano was never fired. His contract expired.
Oh, well, someone just came back tonight on NXT. Dexter Loomis.
Oh, he's been around.
He's been on Raw.
He's been on Raw. He kidnapped The Miz on Monday.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Did you get the identity of the other guy?
What other guy?
The guy that tried to jump AJ Styles? It was some independent wrestler.
Oh no, I had to go to the bathroom during that part, so I missed that. I forget
what his name is. I think he's Indian or Muslim, but he's a local wrestler from somewhere. But he's been around. I think he's done NJPW Strong episodes.
He probably has. He probably worked for Smash for Buddy Allen, friend of the show, Smash Wrestling. Road Dogg's returning to be an executive.
Yep.
Savio Vega was hospitalized for an unknown reason, but he is in stable condition right now.
He didn't look good.
Bobby Fulton is out of the hospital after having sepsis and double pneumonia. He is also battling throat cancer, so that's not the best there.
Yikes, that's horrible.
Jeff Jarrett has left WWE as his role as the senior vice president of live events.
Oh,
and just slide
Excuse
Road
me.
Dogg right in there.
The player, the wrestler was Rajan Husher
Yes.
from Battle Arts Pro.
Okay. Battle Arts?
That jumped AJ Styles.
Yep. Battle Arts Pro.
Okay. The Good Brothers Impact contracts expires in a few days. They're going to do some shots this weekend, but
they've already been back over in Japan.
Yep.
They were on a couple episodes of G1. Looking good as ever too.
Apparently MJF is returning to AEW.
They need it
somewhat soon. Okay, I haven't said this yet in the show, but according to
fuck Dave Meltzer,
the leading candidate to host SummerSlam next year will be
Nashville, Tennessee.
Nashville, Tennessee again.
Wow. Here's the thing. I was there. It wasn't well done. It reminded me of Dallas.
Oh God.
Oh yeah, me and Del we were having flashbacks all over the place.
We're not going to talk about how I riled you up and you almost fucking flipped out. Oh God. Okay, a couple more. So according to
fuck Dave Meltzer,
the reason that WWE wants to go to so WWE supposedly already went to TV 14, but all their premium live events or pay-per-views have always been TV 14 during the Attitude.
Well, last night they used the word bitch on there. And Kim was like, "Can they say that?" I was like, "Well, they're not TV 14." So yes.
So then all of a sudden they're supposed to be TV 14, and then they're not TV 14, but yet all of a sudden, oh no, the memo, quote unquote, went out too early. But now the reason why WWE wants to go to TV 14,
so they don't have to mute the champs.
The fucking stupidest reason possible. Yep. So they don't have to edit the crowd. Bullshit.
Which you can now say.
Bullshit. Fucking bullshit. Fuck Dave Meltzer.
Well, you can't say fucking bullshit yet.
No, fucking bullshit. Fucking bullshit.
I want to say fuck Dave Meltzer too.
Okay, so another
by the way, we are now TVMA. We're no longer TV 14 here on the wrestling show.
We've never
for those of you following us on Twitch. I know, I'm just kidding.
One last bit of news is about WrestleMania 39 tickets. They sold.
Yeah, what is that?
Over 90,000 tickets in the 24 hours. This is combined for the both nights. But according to Wrestle Tickets, which is the Dave Meltzer of fucking tickets, night one sold 49,544, which leaves only 1,602 available. And night two sold 1,122 with 1,024 still available.
Those mathematically don't even make sense.
They're saying that the capacity is only 51,146 in a 100,000 seat arena. They're not scaling off half that arena.
They're not.
They're not. So
they might do it for. They might be doing it in blocks.
That's what I'm thinking. They're releasing certain tickets so scalpers can't chew them up. That's what they're fucking doing. So Wrestle Tickets can go suck a fucking. I was going to say what Ryan normally says, but I'm not going to.
Nope, can't do it.
That's it.
He can't edit yet. He's still in rehab.
That's it.
Got it.
We need butt plugs.
Oh. Jerry, go ahead. Plug it.
Plug. Oh. SimulationFL.net. You catch our action. We're halfway through our season. Bullseyes and Brewskis actually live now. You can check it out after our show here on Facebook and YouTube. You can catch me on the Best on Sports Show period 2, along with these two great gentlemen. Got a good show coming up here on Thursday. All on you guys now.
All right. Well, you can catch me. And actually, I've been pretty active on both Twitter and Facebook lately with the wrestling show. So you can find me on Twitter at the Sports Guru 728. Also, the Best Darn Sports Show period 2 on Thursday nights at 9 p.m. Minus this week, and we'll go into that in a little while. And then, yeah. So for the new Sleazy, I'll go ahead and throw it to Fatman.
You can find us here on Twitch, twitch.tv/Sleazy and the Fat Man. You can find us at facebook.com/Sleazy the Fat Man, on Instagram and Twitter at Sleazy Fat Man, onlyfans.com/The Wrestling Show. Of course, you got to do that. We do have a TikTok, which I think it's The Wrestling Show. I think it's either
Ryan's been blowing it up lately, so my guess is that's it.
It's either
that his.
I think that's his. So it's either TikTok at The Wrestling Show or at Sleazy Fat Man or whatever it is.
Well, let me know and send me the information because I want to start doing that.
Okay.
So I can find research on stuff. Pardon me.
So then you can find me at TWS Fatman on Twitter. I've been a little bit more active on Twitter lately myself. You can find Sleazy, who's in rehab, sucking hermaphroditic dick to get these reviews out. So that's why he's in rehab. So clearly rehab's not working for him.
Jerry just got into the kayfabe. What?
Yep. And then Ryan's on he's pimping around. So I guess that's it for this week for Jerry. Thank you so much for coming on the show and shooting the shit with us. And for
the new Sleazy,
this is Fat Man. Thank you so much for listening. So fuck Dave Meltzer, fuck Kenny Omega. A hot dog's not a sandwich. A sub's not a sandwich. And Sleazy, thank you for keeping kayfabe alive. Love you, brother. Can't wait to see you in a couple weeks. Peace.
I'm a truth that you seem to run from. I'm an army of one. I'm a clip in your gun. I'm the pain in the game. The bloodshed in your name. When there's nothing to gain, all the world goes sad.
The preceding presentation has been brought to you by the Gear Network.